Yeah, I think the 3-3. That was our first 3-3 this year, and it's difficult to put three in a row in a 3-3, especially when you're playing some teams that weren't in the middle of 3-3s. But the points were huge after losing both our games the previous weekend against Cincy and Toledo. We have to start being aware of where we're at in the standings, and every point's so valuable right now. We don't want to be sitting around in February and March realizing all these lost points in the month of November and how costly it could have been. So this week's another challenge, obviously. Cincy, Toledo, and Cincy again this week, so it doesn't get any easier. But the one thing that we see was consistent goaltending for both Hafner and Fucale, and we also played better defensively in front of our goalies. And also we got to that 3-goal mark a game. We've been struggling to score this year, and 3 seems to be the magic number for us.
And it seems like, Haji and JC's not around here, but it seems like they've kind of elevated their play. Have you seen that as well?
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point. Those guys are going, but I think Saturday night's game was the first time all year when we've won a game where we've had contributions from all 3 lines. So it seemed like this year when we've been winning games, we've only had one line that's really been going. But it was nice to see on Saturday night's game, you had Shasma on the 3rd line getting a goal. You had Haji getting goals. We had scoring from our 2nd line as well as Zidlowski. So it was good to see all 3 lines contribute on Saturday.
You bring up Cincinnati, obviously always a tough game with them. As you kind of look ahead to that, what are you guys kind of focusing on practice and what's going to be key looking toward that game?
Well, we get a guys some more rest today after our day off yesterday, and then we'll have a good practice tomorrow. Both teams are getting really familiar with each other because of the fact we play so much. And, at the end of the day, you just got to be a great back-checking team against Cincinnati. They're highly offensive. They're very fast in transition off the rush, and you got to make sure you try to stay above them and keep them out of the good ice. We did a pretty good job of that. Other than 2 minutes the other night, in those 2 minutes, they scored 2 goals. So they can hurt you if you give up those opportunities. So this, again, it's more going to be about reminding guys of why we were successful against them.
And then, of course, looking ahead to Toledo, always a rivalry game with them. Is it good to have a rivalry like that?
Well, I think all of the division games are rivalries. It doesn't matter who it is. Toledo, they're the cream of the division right now. Them and Cincinnati have kind of run away with it. They're 2 of the top teams in the entire league. So our division, it's tough when you play those teams, but the last couple times we played Toledo, they've been 1-goal games. We've been in those games. We just haven't generated a lot offensively against them. They have 6 really good defensemen and 2 good goalies, so you got to make sure that you get pucks delivered to the net and crash the net. And we just haven't been greasy enough the last couple times we played Toledo. So when we see them on Friday, we'll talk about that on Thursday.
You mentioned Fucale. Just what do you see from him that's allowed him to kind of raise his game?
Well, I think, you get called up, you go up there, work with the goalie coaches, you see things in a different light, you come back, and when guys come back from call-ups and they get the net, you want to see them, especially with their goaltenders, make the most out of the opportunity. I mean, that's what they're here for in terms of being an NHL contract, the goalies to play games and develop their game here. So when they're called up and they get in the net, they're going to be that much more confident. And I just think he kind of cleared his mind, cleared the focus. He had a good start to the season here, and then frankly, we didn't play good in front of him a couple starts. But he holds himself to a high standard, and I think he'd be the first one to tell you he didn't have a couple good games in the net either. So the combination of us not playing great defensively in front of him and him maybe being off a couple games wasn't good. He is coming back with a real good, clear focus of what he's got to do to be successful here.
3 games, and seems like you kind of played pretty well.
Yeah, as a team, we had a great weekend, and we had a couple really good practices to start off the weekend that really set the tone for us this weekend and this past one. But now that that's done, we know that we can perform at that level, and now we just got to keep doing that. So that's what we expect out of each other. And so now that this weekend's done, we got to put it behind us and look forward to the next one.
What did you see differently, back in net in front of you that seemed to be working well?
I think guys were sharing the puck, and guys were just moving the puck, moving their feet, and as soon as we do that, we see the difference right away. And like I said, that's the type of hockey we expect out of each other, and so that should be the standard for us moving forward. And so that's great. It's great that we won 3 games, but it's over, and now we got I think we got 3 this weekend, and now the schedule's really starting to ramp up. So this is the type of hockey we got to play, and so I'm just looking forward for the next game. This past weekend's behind us already.
And then for yourself, kind of moving around, moving up, moving down. What are you learning when you move up that you can use when you come back to town?
There's always something you can learn every single day. no matter the team you're at, what league, there's always something you can learn. And so I'm just trying to make sure I stay consistent in my habits and the way I practice. And so lately it's been going well, but I can't be too satisfied. And like I said, that's what we expect out of the team, but that's also what I expect of myself. And so it was a good weekend, but now I put it behind me, and now I'm looking forward to these next games here.
Yeah, you guys are going to hit the road to go to Cincinnati, which always seems to be a tough place to play. Have you played there before?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Okay, and so, do you see anything different when you go on the road to a place like Cincinnati?
It's fun. It's fun to play there because they get a lot of fans, and their crowd gets pretty rowdy. So they got a big physical team, and they're not easy to play against, and that just makes for fun hockey games. And I think we've kind of found our game this past weekend, so we got to recreate that again and again. And it's going to be some good games this weekend. And I think overall the whole season, our division is going to be a real fun division to watch.
Yeah, I was talking to Coach about the division games, and you got Toledo coming up on Friday, and it seems like that's a pretty bitter rivalry. Do you get a sense of that?
Yeah, right away. I mean, I haven't been in this division before, but just with this past month, I saw it right away that it's really important. And these games are huge, especially early on in the season. You want these points, and Toledo's a tough team, and I think we're figuring out that we're right up there with them. So that's great, and so it's going to make for some great games. And we're going to have a good week here and move forward.
Coming back in front of the home fans was obviously a good time, and getting the win was great. Thought we played a pretty solid game. So yeah, it's a good feelings all around.
Everything feel good? The injury, everything?
Oh yeah, everything. I'm good to go, 100%.
So what did you learn in your time off watching from the sidelines?
You just realize sometimes that you have more space than you think you do out there. Seeing it from the stands is definitely like a different point of view, and yeah.
And so you came back at a pretty good weekend, 3 wins in 3 games. What was working well this weekend?
I think we were just working for 60 minutes, playing a full game, and we've been trying to do that all year, and I think we're finally starting to figure it out.
Is it just a matter of you guys are now starting to gel a little bit too?
I think so, guys. We're getting used to each other. We got some lines figured out that are working for us, and I think we're just going to keep working towards that,
And there was success on every line.
Yeah.
I mean, how big is that?
Yeah, that's huge. When you have 3 full lines contributing offensively, it's hard to stop us out there.
And then also it helps to have good goaltending. I think the most goals give up was 2 games in 3.
Yeah.
2 goals in 3 games. So,
yeah.
From your standpoint, what's that do for you when you see them working hard like that?
Oh, it's a huge confidence boost for sure, and it makes you want to work harder for them because they're working hard for you, and it's working out for us right now, so we're going to keep doing that.
So let's look ahead to the Cincinnati game. You guys got to go on the road and play there. Have you played there yet?
I have not.
Okay, so what have you been told about what to kind of expect on the road like that?
I think they always just play like a hard-checking game, and their fans are behind them just like ours are behind us here. So we got to go in there, work hard, and play a full 60 minutes, and I think we'll be okay.
And then have you gotten to play against Toledo yet?
I have.
Okay,
yeah.
So you know about that rivalry feeling.
Yeah.
Does it have a different feel for you?
Yeah.
You know all of the hubbub around it?
Yeah, for sure. You definitely mark that one on the calendar. You know it's going to be a big game, and it definitely psychs you up a little bit more than normal.
What do you think has been kind of the key in everybody kind of elevating their game a little bit?
I think we know we're a better team than we've showed on paper, and we kind of just want to prove that. We're tired of being in the losing column, and we want to get some wins going here.